Thank you, Camila. Thanks a lot, our friends from MAXQDA for this opportunity to present to you and discuss with all our colleagues this topic which I've been working for a while now. Well, I don't want to miss more time. I want to speak very quickly, and then for us to discuss a little bit topic. Well, uh, I'll start with some personal background, and then I'll discuss with uh, focus on cultural models of nature, theory, and methodology, how I got to this sort of analysis and why it's relevant. And then we go to the proper session, which is data analysis using MAXQDA in 7 steps. We are going to work with 8 key MAXQDA features, and we're working primarily with frequent words and conceptual maps. We're going to discuss how there are many different and new ways to perform an analytical task with MaxQDA. And as I've been reworking this material and for some years, it's very interesting to analyze from these differences and these very possibilities that keep on improving in MaxQDA. And well, just to introduce, I'm founder of this consulting organization here in Brazil, based in São Paulo. Specialize in mixed methods, multiple methods to address complex socioeconomic, cultural, and environmental challenges. Uh, our goal is to develop innovative solutions in methods and decision making through training, consulting, mentoring, and advisory. And we work with MaxQDA, but also other kinds of analysis and programs too. Well, this analysis of presenter began in 2015. It is part of a larger project where anthropologists are working in different parts of the world and identifying and researching ways to comprehend climate changes that are a very key topic and very emergential topic for us all today in our times. And this research is based on Pará in Amazonia, where I conducted my PhD with participant observation, and I also studied historical documents and produced assessments in collaboration with civil society organizations and public agencies. But I've never used QDA softwares. By this time, I use databases. I also use network analysis mainly for kinship. And it was this project that I began working with, this MAXQDA. And the context we can see here in the map, the communities which I'm working on, and we're analyzing in this conversation only the 18 semi-structured interviews focused on daily routines and food production. Uh, in addition to participant observation since 2008 and open dialogue in houses, nature walks, we also conducted for this project in specific free listening tasks and spatial tasks for perception, but we have no time to enter in these topics today. I began my partnership with MaxQDA in 2019 when I produced 2 research blog posts which are basically the first version of this article presented here and discussed here. The main results are available in this book, edited by Giovanni Bernardo, Cultural Models of Nature, Primary Food Producers and Climate Change. And the article we are discussing is available here in this second volume of the practice of qualitative data analysis, uh, edited by Rädiker and Gizzi, which is very nice, and it was a great experience to also to uh, hear from this specialists about my work and how I could improve it. So it was really nice experience, and that's why I'm sharing it with you now. Um, I find to understand why it's interesting to analyze frequent words. It's nice to get back some to the theoretical and methodological approach. So our goal in the end is to contribute to describe cultural practices and underlying conceptual models that people engage in to analyze relationship with environmental degradation, climate change, in the end to inform policy implementation. And from this standpoint, we have two basic concepts, which are cultural models and nature. One is meant to be shared mental representations, and nature refers here in this analytical standpoint to everything that exists and how the world works from a certain cultural perspective. And well, cultural models is based on humans. I sort of present here a free model to highlight some key points in the theoretical framework. Well, to understand if we are humans or how different we are from other humans, we have this basic difference between individual and people, collective beings, a person with his body, mind, cognition, and people that form a certain society with specific beliefs. But what bonds these two entities together is precisely the fact that they share or have in common certain group of traits, which is culture. And culture, we know it's based on made of auto-awareness, also beliefs, and it is perceived by our body and objectified in society. So we can say that culture is language from this standpoint. And as it is language, it is main language in cognition is made of words, and the words are communicated so in organized structures using reasoning for produce knowledge, and so culture is knowledge from this perspective, and it can be modeled both by anthropologists, analytical student researchers of different kinds, but also for people, by people in the ground. As we live, we create models, so the idea is to elicit models that are in the minds of people. And when we talk about nature here, the idea is that we have basic, probably this is hypothesis underlined by Atran and Madden, a book from 2008. I well, I didn't put the reference here, but it's on the book. So these elements tend to appear in different ways in different cultures. So how does a group understand how these entities exist and how they go together or not? may create are in the basis of different models, foundational models in which God may be the center of the universe, or humans are somewhat different from all the other entities, are special, or all entities are one kind, one of a kind, are all part of one whole holistic universe. So we have this other distribution. And but which are the words people talk about in their minds, in their words, living words? And that's why we have to go to people to understand if supernatural, for example, is something that exists in their mind, in everyone's minds, for example, and for in ethnography. So we are going to pass through 7 steps, um, from setting up and structuring the project, retrieving and comparing frequent words, turning frequent words into codes and creating code clouds, and then visualizing relationships of codes with conceptual maps, lemmatizing keywords to retrieve and code a theme, reading segments of a code and creating subcodes, and then visualizing co-occurrences of codes in max with max maps. We're going to pass to different key MAXQDA features, and focusing on the conceptual maps and frequent words if we go out of time. But I think it's okay. So the first step here, to set up project, if you're not an advanced user in MAXQDA, we have these basic groups of which are key to this sort of mixed method analysis, which is the creation of your document groups and your document sets, and then variables that you attach to your individuals in interviews, because you want to analyze if they're male, female, if they're adult, senior, or in other variables. So, and this function, which is really nice to create document sets, to create subgroups within our interview group, which here is based on 18 individuals. So we can even join different variables to create groups, for example, female and senior one. So we can analyze this specific of this group, for example. This is something we can use a lot to specify our qualitative analysis using different attributes and collective entities by variables. We can switch back to MAXQDA here and visualize here the code system, document system here, sets here. There are 2 different things. Sets combine different documents that appear here in the groups document system. And then mixed methods is the tab where you can find your tab here to activate variables. So you just select your variable here, and then you can new set or activate to proceed your specific analysis. So this is step 1. Step 2, and then is to retrieve words and begin the analysis of concepts of frequent words. So the the salient words in the mind are of those who are talking about the issues we proposed in your interview are the words that are more salient in culture. We can say that that is the basic premise. the connection between salience and frequency, cultural saliency and quantitative frequency. So we can select each word and then code each word. This is very important here because you have these options to code only one sentence, only the search item, and the whole paragraph. You can even choose sentences before and after, or paragraphs before and after. But if you only choose the search item, you won't find correlations, co-occurrences between the sentences. It is important. I normally use a restrictive criteria, which is only the sentence that the word appears. So it is important to how you make your punctuation while you're producing your data corpus. So here we can get back to the program. Here I will select here only the interviews. I can see the word cloud here, which is a nice feature to begin work visualizing our data. And then from here, we can access word frequencies, which is also here in Max Picture. It's the first option. And then if we click on each word, we can visualize the, the phrases, the context of the words, and then you can auto code with a new code and then search these options here. There are maybe other ways to do this kind of procedure, but that's the way I used in this exploration here. One thing which is very interesting is that I learned during the process that we can use word differentiates the results using document sets. We can see here in this image on the left side that we can see the number of mentions different subgroups have made of a single word. And in the left one, in the right corner here is the left side here is the table I created for the article, the 19 article on cultural models of nature, which is focused on the words and then its variation in each line. We can produce results using those words in different various ways, but I arrived in 35 words representing from frequency analysis representing the basic structure that frame the content about which people talked about, which includes what we say 11 parent codes and 25 subcodes. So we have 11 base main categories and then subcodes. Here is the sequence, and one thing is really nice for the kind of analysis that I conduct here is to use colors to separate different domains. So water domain is blue, so everything that pertains to this domain is it's part of this taxonomy. And so we have a group of taxonomies interconnected, and then we can proceed to another status in our analysis in MAXQDA here. the document systems. The code system appears right below. Normally, you can change also, but normally appears below the document system, and we can open and sweep, bring more details here and select just as we do with our documents. Select groups and create sets, but we're not detailing the creation of groups. But if you drag and drop codes to sets, you will also create freely if you want. Then next stage was to create a model, a free model to visualize the conceptual map with all the taxonomies I created. And based on these 35 words, I created this model which aims to simulate the lived spaces with God above all, as people say, mothers below, because they believe their mothers are entities that are the owners of everything that exists in the world. So one of the mothers is the Curupira, which is the mother of forest, a very common entity among indigenous peoples in Amazonia. Um, and the contrast between the soil and water landscapes, where people live all together with plants uh, in between the beaches and the weeds, the forests that become anthropogenic forests, which they have a specific word for that, which is second capora, is changed words. So it's let's get back here to create a model like this. It's really nice. I didn't have the first time I used it, but we can create using codes. Creative coding is really nice because you can drag, just bring all your taxonomies very easily to creative. I'll change your coding or then send to max maps, or you can create directly into max maps. So visual tools, max maps, and choose a new map if you want to insert manually, taxonomies. You can just import subcodes here and levels, and then it was not my idea to import coded segments, but can do it also. And this second image I tried to explore was to show the parent codes in the inner circle and in the outer circle, the subcodes without distinguishing other levels, and to highlight which are the main relations that that appear in the co-occurrences, which is this is a map of co-occurrences. And well, the red lines represent that the one relationship between plants, a parent code, and its subcodes. The thickness of lines indicates the frequencies of co-occurrences, and the gray ones indicate inter-subsystem connections, which we can see the centrality of the relation between people and gardens in all interviews, much more than water, even though interviews were also made with fishermen. So to create models based on templates MAXQDA provides, you can go here to Max Maps. Let's new code model, because we are focusing on these code taxonomies, and select this case code intersection. I then selected all categories in the 35 frequent word scheme. And there we have something similar. Sometimes I must say that I have trouble reproducing the same scheme in new versions of MAXQDA, but maybe it's me not doing the right thing. But no, in the first, I think in previous versions, I just made exactly what I did here, and parent codes here in the middle, in the center, and other codes in the border. Well, then I created, to explore connections, a code map to visualize distances between concepts uh, based on another algorithm, which maps co-occurrences also, but in a different way than the previous maps I created. And then here you can see, which is very interesting, the strong connection between moon and force and fishes, because because we're talking about weather and climate forces, the word people use to say talk about this phenomena, and also to talk about force of people or the force of plants, or supernatural entities, with if we might say like that, like the gods or the mothers that exist below. Uh, there's an issue about people using these terms supernatural or not supernatural, but it's not the focus here. But we can see also that people come together with the domain of plants and soil, which can contrasting with the line, the all domains that are trespassed by water. So that's another way to visualize uh, how people represent the world uh, using visualizations and algorithms. Uh, so what to see, keep on going in the analysis, I got back to word frequency analysis to group uh, themes, groups of sentences that talked about uh, possible warming problems, which was the main issue we were wanting to discuss in the interviews. Normally, we talked about climate in general, weather in general, and people should, if it was the case, raise the issues like forestation or soil impoverishment, if it was the case for them. So it was an idea to for them to raise those causal connections spontaneously. So I use them to analyze a group of words that talk about heating problems, and this is this is a group of words that I've created new system codes here, which we have very more efficient now ways to do it. I grouped them here just for didactic purposes, because we can group these words very easily through very other procedures, but we can select each of the words by lemmatizing the a word, which in this case is quantified. Lemmatize is to group that all different variants, variations of how a word is spelled, either as synonym, either as a noun or as an adjective, and so on. So in Portuguese, it's basically the word quente, quentar, esquentar, quentura, and among other words that are the key ones used to talk about this topic. It is very easy to lemmatize words because you can just select in word frequencies to reduce words to base form, which is lemmatized in Portuguese. And then you do again the same procedure to code the words. It is how I did. And then next step was to read the passages that I open here. There are many ways to do it, and normally I leave the what we can retrieve our groups here, select the topic, and where is my window? Oh, retrieve segments here. Oh, oh, if we select warm heat here, for example, we're just gonna visualize here, and the interviews, we're gonna visualize only the just one second. Visualize only the ones that appear in this topic here. So you can select the words and then get back to coding. We have other ways to do it, but that's a very simple way, which is some maybe will take some time, but it's not too much, but it's worthwhile and gets to the point in the end. After working on each of these specific words, I coded different segments for different speakers using this difference between those two propositions. Climate was warmer and climate varies periodically, which was the main discussion people uh, uh, talked about in the interviews. After coding all them, we can use a feature which is really nice, is to convert code into variables, and then we can use them as other variables that we brought into as attributes to analyzing max stats, for example. I'm not going to open MAXQDA right now, but it's really easy. As using warm heat, I created these climate change propositions, and using climate change prepositions, I could uh, go and click on right right button right, and just transform code frequencies into document variables. And then we have the our variables here, which we coded, converted into variables from code to variables. So that's one of the key meanings of mixed methods, which is the transformation between codes to variables and the interconnections between codes and variables. So we uh, and then to finish, I created a last concurrence model, which is the same procedure as I created the other one, max maps, and then a code concurrence model. And then using this image, I could visualize that when people talked about climate change, they mainly talked about soil, forests, and the phenomena of deforestation, while fishery was not an issue in this moment. But had these interviews been made this year, for example, which they had a very serious drought, for example, the scheme might have been structured in some other way, showing some more focus on fishery and not uh, planting activities. Uh, and you see the only relation between fish and Izir, which is uh, mainly focused on the constant and very predictable periodical changes, while climate is warmer, is more connected to hours, days, and time, and even force, which is more connected to unpredictable phenomena. Uh, and the fact that it is less connected to God than it is fishery, which suggests that God's related to more predictable sequences, whereas these other phenomena are related to human uh, uh, activity. So through this paths, I learned a lot of different lessons. One of them, which I highlighted, is that there are many useful ways to use concepts or maps to represent constituents of the word people talk about. And that's an easy way to represent the world people live in and address the issue of climate change. There are several options to create maps and even to export, for example, an adjacent matrix in code relations browser, but it's something we're not gonna dive into today, but we can export to other network analysis programs such as Pajek, which is a free program, and we can produce even other uh, types of networks uh, using MAXQDA through text analysis. There are very different ways to perform different analytical tasks, and well, I maybe it is suffices to show that this kind of word based content analysis may connect to other approaches like discourse analysis, narrative, thematic analysis, because they're maybe complementary in various ways. And this approach is very interesting to for us to get closer to the structures of knowledge as culture. So that's why this kind of approach is interesting. And well, that's it. I'm sorry for my bad English. Uh, and hope you had I could present it the most clear way for you guys.